Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by one of our colleagues and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by one of our students.
Good morning. My name is Jen Huyen. I'm a Mandarin teacher here in Shaker Middle School and Woodbury. Now please join me in Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Brian Harris. I'm a member of the class of 2014. I am also the president of the a cappella mixed choir at this school, and I am honored to sing to you the national anthem today. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Erin Herbrook, and it is my honor to serve as the Director of Planning and Development for the Shaker Heights City School District. I begin today with many of you another year in this wonderful district, today being my 19th. We're here to commemorate a new beginning and celebrate our focus on tradition, diversity, innovation, and excellence. Let's together acknowledge all our years of experience here in the Shaker schools. Those of you beginning your 30th year or beyond, please give yourselves a round of applause. Those of you beginning your 20th to 29th year, let's hear from you. Those of you beginning your 10th to 19th year, let's hear from you. Those of you beginning your second to 9th year, let's hear from you. Those of you beginning your first year, please stand and be acknowledged by your colleagues. Please know that we are here to support you as new members of our Shaker team. What brings us together here today is to celebrate our purpose, to make a difference in the lives of our students and support their success in life. Please join me in welcoming 2 students who will introduce our featured speaker.
Good morning. My name is Connor. I'm a senior and student body president here at the high school.
My name is Mariah, and I'm a kindergarten at Boulevard.
Please join us in welcoming
Our superintendent,
Dr. Gregory C. Hutchings.
Thank you. So can I get a hug? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's a large group. Thank you. Okay, wow. That was a warm welcome, and you all were thanking me for the entrance. Thank you for the applause. I'm really happy to be here. Before we even begin, I would like to introduce, my better half and my 2 wonderful children, my wife Cheryl Hutchings and my daughter Micah and son Gregory III. You can stand up. Micah. They really need to go to school. Gregory has school today, and we want to keep him on schedule. My wife wanted to be here for the actual introduction, so thank you for being here. My wife, she definitely is my better half, and she makes a lot of sacrifices for me. Just being out in the community, after hours, I thank you for that, Cheryl, and drive safely. Call me later. I would also like to introduce a couple of people because we have a really great VIP group over here, but before I introduce them, we have some of our board members here today. If we can have our board president, Miss Annette Tucker Sutherland, if you can stand, please. We also have 3 of our board members, Mr. Norman Bliss, Mr. Ruben Harris, and Miss Amy Fulford and her daughter. And we also have today the mayor, Mayor Lycan, and our vice mayor, Lynn Ruffner, and one of our councilwomen, or councilmen, Juliana Centuria. And of course, all of our central office staff and all of our other important people that are over here. We have our collective bargaining presidents, a number of other individuals who are in the audience. So thank you all for joining us. I also would like to acknowledge Dr. Aaron Herbrick. If you can just stand for just a moment. You know, I talked to Aaron and the cabinet members about this about 3 months ago. I want to say before I even started on the clock here in Shaker Heights, I said we have to have a convocation and we have to open, you know, with, you know, this big celebration for everyone. And Aaron, and she worked with Chris August, Miss August, and some of our other cabinet members to put this on. But Aaron has really taken, you know, all of this. I think you took on a huge job, but it turned out to be a wonderful success. So just thank you for your work. Appreciate that. I'm almost speechless. You know, when I spoke to the Shakerite yesterday or a couple of days ago, I said, I'm not nervous. I'm very excited about today, and I'm still not nervous, but I'm like almost speechless. And all the thoughts that I had in my mind to share with you all today, they kind of went away. And I'm glad that I have my iPad back here that I can go back and refer to some of my notes. But first and foremost, I just wanted to say that I hope that today you all felt valued. Did you all feel valued coming in today? You know, the purpose in having Convocation is starting off the year with a bang. I believe that the way you start is always the way you finish. And having you all come here and we're fired up and we're excited and we're being encouraged and motivated is the way I hope we will remain throughout the year for our young people. So I just want to commend each and every one of you for being here today and for taking on this wonderful job that you've all accepted. So thank you. Just give yourselves another round of applause. Today at about 11 o'clock, the Ohio Department of Education plans to post our report card. And I see some faces like, oh God, our report card. And we're going to see, you know, a wide range of grades. As you all know, we went from the effective rating to now having an actual grade or a letter grade. And we're going to have a wide range from A's to F's on our report card. But what I want you all to know is that that's just one source. And I know, just like I know that you all know, we go to work every day and we give 100%. And here in Shaker Heights, now that I've been here for 2 months, I've realized it is really a special place. And that grade, or the grades that we receive on that report card, does not justify who we are as a district. So I want you all to know that I do appreciate, and I know the community appreciates what you do for our students. And we have a lot of celebrations, but we also have some challenges. And I think that with the challenges that come throughout the year and the challenges that we don't know about, we have to rely on each other. And we have to realize that every single person that's in this auditorium today, we're all one. We're one team. So it's not, you know, a Boulevard issue or a Fernway issue or an Onaway issue or a bus driver's issue. You know, it's a Shaker Heights City Schools issue, and we're all a part of the team. So I'm hoping that we will lift each other up, we will encourage each other, that we will hold each other accountable, hold me accountable. You know, I got the job by coming in and being as transparent as I possibly could be and telling you all about the achievement gap and telling you all of the different issues that we have here in Shaker Heights. And now it's time for me to stop giving the lip service and show some work and show some action. And I'm ready to do that, you know, and I know that if any district in this country is going to do it, it's Shaker Heights. I mean, we have the right people. We have the knowledge, we have the skills, we have the passion, we have the resources. And we're very fortunate to be a part of this wonderful community. So I'm just happy to... So I'm very happy to be here. And today, usually I don't use, you know, a script, or I don't write my speeches down on a piece of paper. I always try to memorize. But I've been working so hard this week, in the past 2 weeks, really the past 2 months, that I was not able to memorize my speech. So I'm going to use my iPad, which I normally do not do, to recite a speech. But it's very important for me to convey the message that I would like to send today to you all. A couple of months ago, I met with the executive director at the Shaker Historical Society, and she had shared with me that back in the early, I think, or mid-50s or late 50s, Martin Luther King Jr. Actually spoke on the steps of one of our local churches here in Shaker Heights. And it intrigued me, the story that she shared with me. So I went home and I Googled, Dr. King. And I came across his I Have a Dream speech. And as I read his, everyone knows about the I Have a Dream. I hope everyone knows about the I Have a Dream speech, including Mariah. She'll learn about it today. But Martin Luther King, his speech, we will celebrate his 50th anniversary for the I Have a Dream speech next week, August the 28th. It was said August 28th, 1963. And I was going over his speech and I said, so many people have come to me and said, what is your vision for Shaker Heights? What do you believe, or what are your beliefs? What are your core values? And I began to write my own I Have a Dream speech. And I'm not Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He is a part of my fraternity, though, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. But he continues to inspire me, and I'm sure he inspires many of you. So if you all can give me a moment, I'm going to pull up my speech, and I'm going to read I Have a Dream for Shaker Heights. I have a dream that Shaker Heights City Schools will provide a world-class education where all students, regardless of their neighborhood, race, socioeconomic status, life experience, will achieve at high levels and grow academically every day. I have a dream that our community will continue to advocate for and support our schools to ensure that every young person has the skills needed to contribute to our global society. I have a dream that each of you will recall the sense of purpose that motivated you to get into education, knowing that we are imperfect as human beings, but we are determined to do whatever it takes to help every child succeed. I have a dream that all 5,500 students, including my own 2 children, will be able to graduate from Shaker High School ready for college and careers. I have a dream that our students enter a learning or a safe learning environment each day where all support staff are caring and nurturing and genuinely want the best for our young people. I have a dream that the Shaker Schools continues to maintain a professional and collaborative relationship with all 3 of our collective bargaining organizations, while keeping the best interests of our young people at the forefront. I have a dream that the Shaker Heights City Schools will be transparent, clear, and timely with the community to keep them informed of our efforts to become a 21st century school district that keeps students first. I have a dream that we will embrace the Ohio teacher evaluation system as a means for growing professionally as educators rather than a burden or a gotcha technique to punish teachers. I have a dream that we support teachers and provide them with professional learning opportunities to better serve our young people. I have a dream that we will provide opportunities for Shaker staff to collaborate and communicate about students, schools, and district data to provide a more robust educational experience for our young people. I have a dream that our buildings and our grounds will continue to look impeccable, making it clear to all visitors that our custodial and maintenance crew has put love, care, and pride into their work. I have a dream that our businesses and community leaders will partner with the Shaker Schools to assist us with providing resources, services, and learning opportunities for our young people. I have a dream that our students will be picked up on our buses each day by drivers who greets them with a smile and gets them to school safely and on time. I have a dream that every student feels physically and emotionally safe at school, secure in the knowledge that every adult in this district is invested in their success and well-being. I have a dream that each of you will leave here today knowing that we can rely on each other for support and advice, and that we must hold ourselves and each other accountable for making a difference in the lives of our students. And finally, I had a dream that one day I would become the superintendent of a school district that is as diverse and committed to education as all of you. And I'm very thankful for being the new superintendent here in Shaker Heights. And we do have one more special guest to speak today. I heard a rumor that Michelle Obama was going to be here, and she's not. But if anyone knows her, please invite her out. I would like to meet her. But some of you have read the Shaker magazine, and my story was shared with the community about some of my upbringing and some of my life experiences. And throughout my life, I've had a lot of people who have planted seeds in my life to make me the person that I am today. And I was very fortunate, you know, that my first public school teacher, so in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher, she told me, you know, I was very talkative. I still am. And I was a class clown. I used to make everybody laugh. And I always loved to be in charge. So she pulled me out in the hallway one day, and she said, you know, all of this negative energy, you know, let's make it more positive. Do you know you could be the first black president of the United States? And I said, me? I could be the first black president? And she said, yes, you could be the first black president of the United States. And I believed her that day. I literally believed that I could be anything that I wanted to be. And she planted that seed. And I had many teachers, you know, throughout my educational career who instilled really good values and pushed me and supported me and encouraged me. But she started it. And she's actually here today. My kindergarten teacher. You can stand up. And I know she looks too young to be my kindergarten teacher. I was in kindergarten 31 years ago. But she was my black Barbie doll. And my mom, I used to come home and say, I'm going to marry Miss McKenzie. Well, I called her Miss Murphy back then. I'm going to marry Miss Murphy. She's my black Barbie doll. And now we're back together again. But but she's married and I'm married. So, but I asked Ms. McKenzie to come and to just share some words of wisdom with you all. And one was to honor her for the seed she planted in me. Another was when I was actually announced as the new superintendent of Shaker Heights. Ms. McKenzie, she came to me after she met with Amy and Nanette. They came to Alexandria to interview everyone in the community to make sure I was the right choice. And when they left, Ms. McKenzie said that her work was done. She said that she felt that everything she lived for, all of the values that she instilled in her young people and her students, she saw in me. And now that I have accomplished being the first African-American superintendent in Shaker Heights, that her work was done. And she literally went downstairs into the Human Resources Department and she retired. So on June 30th, which was my last day in Alexandria, was also her last day in Alexandria. And she's been gracious to actually come here to share some words with her. So we're going to welcome Ms. McKenzie to the stage. You need the mic. I'm still doing things for her.
Yes. Wow. Good morning. It seems no matter how many times Dr. Hutchings acknowledges me, I am always so honored and humbled just to have known him and to have taught him as a kindergarten student. This is truly an exciting time for you all. It's an exciting time for you as you move forward. There are so many amazing things that are going to come to you and lie ahead for you. I have worked with Dr. Hutchings over the past 2 years, and I can tell you he brings so much energy and so many ideas and creativity to his job. He is definitely committed. We have chosen an awesome profession. This is the only profession where you get to start over each year. You have the opportunity to examine and reflect upon what you have done the year before, and if something didn't work, you can ditch it and try something new the next year. As educators, we are more powerful than we can ever imagine. We have the power to influence and impact the destiny of our students through our choice of curriculum and pedagogy, but also through the words that we use with our kids, the things that we say to them, and the way that we treat them. Our thoughts, our words, and our actions are so very powerful. You know, pastors and preachers always say that they were called into the ministry. I believe that I was called to teach, and I knew when I was 9 years old that I wanted to be a teacher. I started teaching in the living room of my mother's home. She was a babysitter. So when I would come home from school and I'd learn something new, I could not wait to try it out on the kids that she was babysitting. And whenever we played school, I played school with my friends and relatives, I always wanted to be the teacher. They could be the principal, the nurse, the bus driver, the cafeteria manager, or the counselor. But I was going to be the teacher because I love seeing people learn. And I also think that people learn from those individuals as well. And then another amazing thing happened to me that really kind of changed my perspective on education. When I was in 5th grade, I had an amazing teacher, Mrs. Henderson, who taught me a life lesson. One of our classmates, Ernest, was absent a lot and was always a constant disruption to the teachers. He was usually excluded from class, and we had come to think negatively about him. Mrs. Henderson liked him right away. She gave him responsibility, she called on him in class, she posted his work, and she really worked hard to make him become a part of that classroom. She gave him all of the privileges that she gave everyone else in that class. Whenever behavior issues came up, she dealt with it and she moved on. She did not carry it into the next day. Ernest started to come to school more, and we noticed that he was actually a part of the learning experience. But one day when we were making Mother's Day cards, we noticed that Ernest was absent from the class. And being fickle 5th graders, of course, we started to think immediately that Ernest was in trouble again. So we asked the teacher where was Ernest. And she told us that he was in the principal's office and that he would not be making cards because his mother had died when he was in 2nd grade. You could have heard a pin drop in the classroom because none of us knew. Even though we had been with Ernest for many years, we didn't know that this has happened. And even as 5th graders, we couldn't really understand the full ramifications of his situation. I knew at that time that I felt sad for him. I learned what it meant to empathize for someone. And I also understood at that moment why Mrs. Henderson had always gone the extra mile to fill in for him. And as a result of her showing him and treating him that way, our perception about him started to change. None of the other teachers had ever done that. That year, I not only learned the content information, I also learned that being an educator, you can change lives. Not just the life that you are focusing on, but by all of the other lives that are out there watching you as you do what we do. As I look back at Mrs. Henderson, I feel that she was courageous, she was kind, and I know that she was very passionate about educating the whole child. I'm sure that when her colleagues saw her class roster, they probably said, "Oh my goodness, is he in your class? Oh, well, honey, you're gonna be in for it this year, because he never shows up, and when he does, you're gonna wish he didn't." And I think Mrs. Henderson listened to all of that, but after she heard it, I believed she took a different approach to educating him. I believe Mrs. Henderson decided that she was going to change the way his life was going. She decided not to see him as a disruptive student, but as a student whose life had been disrupted. She saw him as succeeding and not as failing. I believe Mrs. Henderson spoke words of encouragement and words that helped Ernest understand that he had a purpose. I believe she told Ernest that if he wanted to learn, he needed to come to school every day. And she dealt with the Ernest who came to school every day. And I believe Ernest came to trust Mrs. Henderson. Mrs. Henderson was our role model, and because we saw her accept him, we did too. 11 years later, I would become an educator for the next 36 years. First as an elementary teacher, a school counselor, and finally a counseling director. As I bump into students I've taught, I am always so excited to see them and hear what they are doing. And they are all at different places in their lives. But I always try to find words that will encourage them regardless of where they are and where they've landed at that point. I try to give them some words that will help them to understand that this is a journey and that they will continue to move forward, either closer to their destiny or farther away from it based on the decisions that they make. And I always hope that the words that I choose with them are the words that are going to speak into their life at that moment and hope that it will help them to pursue their purpose. Next week, you will welcome a fresh group of learners. You will have an opportunity to shape their learning. As you prepare for them, keep in mind that students are always watching you. You are their role model. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your actions. Keep your actions positive because they impact your destiny. You have the power to influence and to shape and mold so many lives. And when I look at Dr. Hutchings, I realize, this has just been an awesome experience. For me to have poured into him, and then for him to come back, be my leader, and pour back into me. And for me to see what happened there, and I was just doing what a teacher does. I didn't single him out in any way whatsoever. I was doing what we do. And now to see even that carried over to another generation, which would be his children. It's an amazing thing. So I wish you all well. I know you have an exciting year coming up, and I look forward to hearing great things from Shaker Heights.
The only word that comes to mind right now is wow. I'm wild. And I'm hoping that everybody here understands the roles that you all play in our young people's lives. We make or break children. Bottom line. We either are a good influence or we're a bad influence on them. And I hope that everyone in this room takes great pride in your role as an educator. You should have received one of these walking in. I hope everybody got one of these. If you read it, it says, planting the seeds of global learning. Now, we know that this looks like a world or a globe, but these are actually seeds that you can plant and they grow. Miss August has already done it. They're growing in her office, in her flower pot. So we hope that not only you take this and you plant it, because we paid for this, so don't throw it in the trash. But that you go back and you plant seeds in our young people. And all of our students arrive on Monday. They all come in with different challenges and life experiences and expectations, and we have to be there to welcome them and to give them what they need in order to be successful as students here in Shaker Heights. I know that, as I said before, if anyone in this country is going to do it, it's us. And we're going to do it as a team. And I know that many of you today said, oh my gosh, we have convocation, I have classrooms, I got to get my classroom done, I need to meet with my principal. But I felt that this was very important for us to come together to remember our purpose. And that sometimes we get caught up in all the busy schedules and the grading papers and riding buses, and the kids, I know they're loud on the bus too. I commend you all because couldn't do it. I couldn't do that job. But we get caught up sometimes and we forget why we got in this business. So today I hope is a reminder of why you're here and why you signed that contract and why our community is allowing us to raise our children here in Shaker Heights.